So one thing we talk about a lot on this channel are potential problems with used car purchases that can wind up costing you an absolute fortune. Now in today's video, we're going to talk about some of the specific problems that can occur with electric vehicles and one model in particular that you need to avoid. Let's get into it. So this whole story and video is centered around the very unfortunate circumstance that a Renault Zoe owner found himself in, being given an £11,000 bill to repair a faulty heater. As ever, let's not hang around, let's get right into it. There's an article in The Guardian, it's been in a number of news outlets though, you might have already seen it. Let's do a bit of reading anyway. So after 2 years, well within the warranty period, it being the Zoe, developed an intermittent fault with the heater. We asked the local Renault dealer to examine it, but it was unable to do so as it didn't have the correct diagnostic software. We later learned that the technician had failed to put the request on the service sheet. Now that's important because if something isn't logged, if something's not in the paperwork that you later rely upon, that could cause you a problem. Anyway, let's read on. At the time, I didn't have time to travel further afield, and as the heating sometimes worked, I didn't follow up. Fair enough. 1 year later, another Renault dealer suggested that we regas the air conditioning system. I took it to my local independent garage, which found and fixed 2 leaks and regassed the system. Seems a little bit too easy, but a bit too simple a fix. A few months later, the heater died completely. Yeah, so there we go. At this stage, the car was 4.5 years old, almost out of that warranty period, and I took it to an EV specialist garage, which diagnosed a compressor fault. Unfortunately, it could not source the Renault part to make the repair. So, back to the local Renault dealer, which told me it could do the repair for £1,650. And after a 2-month wait, work finally started. Because a lot of these components, they're not going to be off the shelf, they might be on back order or something. On removing the compressor, it found that it had exploded, okay, sending shards of metal throughout the air conditioning system. Renault said the whole system, a total of 33 parts, had to be replaced. The dealer then said it couldn't do the repair as it didn't have a hoist to remove the EV battery, and we would have to find another garage that had the equipment. Right, pause there. 2 things. Number 1, how disappointing is that a main dealer who will undoubtedly have been very keen to sell these cars and make the money from them are unable to support and repair them. Number 2, removing the EV battery. Can we just hold up a second here, because it's a faulty heater. You think about an internally combustion engine car, there's no way we're going to be dropping the engine or the gearbox or anything like that, any of the main components out to fix a faulty heater. But the architecture, the engineering behind these EVs are just that. You know what this reminds me a lot of, actually? The guy who had the Hyundai, which had a battery problem, and he got charged some exorbitant fee in order to fix it. Let's cut to a clip.
EV light come on. I had taken it to the shop. They couldn't find anything wrong.
But there was indeed a problem.
2 weeks after that, the vehicle stopped charging.
The dealership in Hamilton said he needed the battery replaced. The quote stunned him.
I was provided a quote at $50,000.
Between the battery installation and taxes, it totaled just over $50,000.
I was just floored.
Especially because his 160,000 kilometer electric vehicle warranty had just run out.
I said it before and I'll say it again, it just seems to me like the biggest contradiction ever, where these are meant to be the better choice for the planet, but the failure of a single component can write the entire car off. Okay, a battery, that's a pretty major component, but this is another level. Just a heater going wrong is enough to write the car off? Seems insane. Anyway, let's get back to this particular case, the Zoe. So my husband contacted Renault UK customer service again to see if it could provide some help, but it couldn't even tell us which dealers had the equipment to remove a battery. Eventually we found one, but we've now been quoted £9,121 to fix it. With the $2,000 we've already paid, that makes a grand total of £11,000 to repair a heater, making the car a write-off at 5 years old. On the basis that it's out of warranty and the matter wasn't recorded when we first complained. Yeah, there you go. So important to get everything documented in that paperwork, just in case you need to rely on it later. Renault appear to be washing its hands of the matter. Not exactly surprising, but disappointing to read. And it also claimed that the failure might have been caused by the work done by the independent garage when it regassed the system. Yeah, there you go. Safe bet, blame someone else. And you know what? Worst of all, it's not just this case. This same article references someone else who had the exact same failure and was quoted £7,500 to get it repaired. If you look on the forums, they're awash with people having this same issue and buying little plug-in heaters and such to try and get themselves by. Now allow me to keep this video short and sweet and pose a question to you. Would you ever consider buying a second-hand electric vehicle? Genuinely interested to hear your thoughts on this, because I think for me, personally, I just don't think it's worth the risk. Now, if you are in the market to buy a second-hand car, let me give you a little tip here. Use vehiclescore.co.uk, completely free service, to look at the good and bad points about any given car. Now, if you are serious about buying, use one of their paid HPI reports in order to get a full insight to that car's history. I'll drop a 15% discount voucher below, so you've no excuse. Go out there and get a good car. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you for the next one.